Hello children, let me welcome you to the virtual class of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher. Children, we are in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic and because of that we are not able to go to school, but that doesn't mean we are going to stop learning. So we are going to do many lessons which are very interesting from your textbook through the virtual class here. So let us do a lesson in English today. So children, come on, let's go to our lesson for today. It's a lesson in standard 8th. The subject is English and look at the picture here. You can see certain things flying in the air, isn't it? Children out in the open and they are playing with balloons. Now there are some other things which children play with. That is, they tie long strings to it and they fly it high in the sky. So all of us know what it is. Yes, they are kites. So today's lesson is going to be about kites and the name of the lesson is the Kite Festival. It is lesson number 3.2 in your English textbooks. So if you have your English textbooks with you, you can open it and come to page number 61 where we will be talking about the Kite Festival. Now children, we all know about children flying kites. Now it is a month of January, so it is a right time to be learning this lesson because it is in this season that we see children flying kites around. Not only children but also elders. And it is a very thrilling and a very, you can say, a joyful kind of a game or sport, you can say. Now this, there is actually a day or there is actually a time which is dedicated to just flying kites and we call that as the Kite Festival. So we are going to learn a lot about kites and we're going to learn about how the people started flying the kites, and we will also talk about how the traditional kites looked like and now what kind of kites we have and what kind of kites people fly nowadays. Okay, so this is going to be a very informative lesson. You're going to learn so many new things in this lesson. Now as we start the lesson, we will go to the warming up part where we have an interesting grammar exercise, but we are doing it with the help of these beautiful kites. So now this is a kind of a traditional kite, children. These kind of kites you will be able to see around you often and very commonly. Now let's come to the exercise. Now this exercise is based on parts of speech. So you can see certain nouns, you can see certain verbs and certain adjectives written here in the kites, and you have to cut out the wrong kites. That is, in front of nouns, for example, let us see, we have the words festival, celebration, tradition and competition written. So now try and find out whether these words belong to the category of nouns or not. So how will you find out? Very simple. Open your dictionary and look out for these words. So when you open your dictionary, children, you will see markings in the dictionary next to each word telling you whether that particular word is a noun or whether it is a verb or whether it is an adjective. So I will leave you with some time to do this. So pause the video and try to find out answers to this, and then I will give you the answer so you can check with mine. So come on, let's start with the first line. So under nouns you have the words festival, celebration, tradition and competition. All these words, children, are nouns. Okay, so there is no need for you to cut out any kite here because all the kites are right over here. So there is no wrong kite. Coming to the next row, you have certain words which are verbs. Okay, they're given it to you under the category of verbs. So verbs means what? Verbs means when you do any kind of action or when it says a state of being. When a word indicates that it is a state of being or when a word indicates that it is an action, then it is a verb. So come on, let us carefully read the 4 words given under the category of verbs and try and find out whether they are actually verbs. So festivity, I have a doubt about this word. Okay, let's go to the next one. Celebrate. Yes, celebrate is a verb. Trade, trade is also a verb. What about compete? Compete is a verb. So the first kite is the wrong kite. So festivity is not a verb, it is a noun. And now let me tell you one more thing about this verbs. We have an exercise towards the end of the lesson where we will be learning a little bit more about these verbs. Coming to the next row, we have adjectives, which are festive, celebrity, traditional, and compeer. So festive, yes, festive looks like an adjective to me. Celebrity, you will have to check because I'm not so sure. Traditional is again an adjective. What about compeer? Is compeer an adjective? So let us come and check whether all the kites are right and identify the wrong ones. So celebrity is a wrong kite because a celebrity is a person, so it is a noun. And what about compeer? Compeer is also a person. Or you can say that compeer is a verb because you do an action there. So under adjectives we have festive and we have traditional. So you see, we did such a nice activity in grammar and we used the background of the lesson also. The lesson is based on kites, so we used the background and we used the pictures of kites in order to learn more about nouns, verbs and adjectives. So I hope you found this exercise interesting. Let us move on. There is one more exercise here and that exercise is connected to festivals. Now since we are talking about the kite festival, they've asked us to name a festival that you enjoy the most of all. And you're supposed to fill in facts about that particular festival. So come on, let's see and talk about which festival do you enjoy the most. So now this is a subjective question, children. Now I enjoy a particular festival, not necessary that you enjoy the same one. So all these answers reflect my choice. Okay, so come on, let's get started. So for me, the festival which I like the best or enjoy most of all is Ganesh Chaturthi, or we say the Ganpati festival. When is it celebrated? It is celebrated in the month of August or September. Now why is Ganesh Chaturthi or the Ganpati festival celebrated? Because it marks the birthday of Lord Ganesha. How is it celebrated? We bring home idols of the Lord. What else do? We sing artis to the Lord. We do prayers to the Lord. Okay? And we also call home relatives and we visit the houses of people. So we celebrate it with a lot of pomp and fare. Now what is the special cuisine? What are the special things that we make for this festival? Of course, like all other festivals, we make a lot of sweets, we make a lot of savory items, but the speciality as far as Ganpati festival or Ganesh Chaturthi is concerned is modak. Okay, so modak is a kind of a sweet dumpling. There is a cover which is made up of rice flour or wheat flour and it has got nice sweet filling made with coconut and jaggery. What are the other special features of this festival? There are get-togethers, there are feasts, people have competitions, people gather every day, and there are so many events also which happen during the course of this Ganesh festival. So that is my favorite festival. So what you can do is, you can think about your favorite festival and you can fill up these lines. Alright, so this is just an example which I have tried to show you about my favorite festival. So these were the exercises in warming up. Now let's go to our lesson and let us get some information about the kite festival or about kites. So here you can see a boy flying kites. Nowadays, children, we are living in cities. Most of us are living in cities. Some of you, if you are living in villages and you have open spaces, you are indeed very lucky. But for us who live in cities, it is very difficult nowadays. We live in these high-rise buildings and some of us have no access to the terrace. And when you stand on the ground, you will see that there is no space, open space around you. But once upon a time, people used to fly kites in order to be busy during holidays, in order to keep away from boredom. Okay, so you can see here this child is flying kites. Now, kites were made of paper and kites were made of thin wooden frames. Now, in the beginning, you will see that kite flying was a very unique activity, not only in India but also in various parts of the world. So, you will see that kite flying has got a long history. The Greeks used to fly kites, the Chinese used to fly kites, and of course, we Indians used to fly kites. And there are a lot of stories also related to flying kites. Gradually, as time passed, see, you can see here the Chinese are flying kites. There are kites in the shape of dragons, there are kites in the shape of huge birds. Slowly and slowly, as man progressed, the way in which he started flying kites also started changing. So this is a traditional kite. So these traditional kites are made with just kite paper, which is a very thin kind of paper, and wooden frames. And see, it has got a long tail also, which helps it to maintain its direction. So this was how the kite looked in ancient times. But now you will see that the kite has changed. It has undergone a lot of change. So people fly different kinds of kites today. So this is one more traditional kite. Alright, you can see here, look at this, funny looking and interesting looking kites. So nowadays, kites are more like designer kites. People try to use modern designs and people try to see how my kite is better than the other one's kite. Okay, so we have these kite flying festivals, kite flying competitions also. See here, this is a kite in the shape of a dragon. Alright, I'll show you some interesting pictures of different kind of kites. See, these are animal kites. So there is a tiger kite and there is a teddy bear kite behind it. So some kites are cute, some kites look interesting, some kites are funny. Okay, so today there are different kind of kites. You will find them all over the world. See, look at this. This is the kite in the shape of an octopus. Alright, so of course it must not be easy to fly this. They might be using some kind of motor etc. inside this kite. So nowadays we even have motorized kites. Okay, there are kites which are made up of fiberglass also. So these are all the different kind of kites that you can see around you. There are some very traditional Indian kites. So this is the Garuda, a very famous you can say figure from the Ramayana. So you can see Garuda here. So a flight in the shape of Garuda. Alright. Now in India, even though the shape and the size of kites have changed, the tradition of kite flying has not changed. So the kite flying festival, it starts or it happens during the time of the festival of Makar Sankranti. Okay, so you have winds blowing and you will see that people come out in hordes with their kites and they try to fly it on top of their houses, on terraces, etc. Now Makar Sankranti is celebrated either on the 13th of January or on the 14th of January. Now it is on this day, and especially in the state of Gujarat, that kite flying is celebrated or is done on a large scale, and it is called as the Kite Flying Day. This is the time when people meet just in order to fly their own kites and cut someone else's kite. Okay, so Makar Sankranti is actually the day when people come out and fly kites. Now it is also coincides with the calendar. That is, it is said that it is on this particular day that the sun, it starts the northward movement. Okay, So the sun is said to be beginning its journey towards the northern hemisphere. So you can see here we have Uttarayan. So that is called as Uttarayan. That is the northward movement of the sun. Or you can say the movement of the sun towards the northern hemisphere. So Uttarayan. So which side is the north? See, this side is the north. And when the sun starts moving towards the north, that is a time which marks the beginning of the, you can say, season of spring, or we can say it marks the end of winter, and people come out in huge numbers in order to fly kites and celebrate it. Okay, so people start flying kites in the beginning of the day at dawn, and it goes on the whole day. And you will see how people come out along with their friends and along with their relatives, and they come out onto their terrace, and everywhere you look you will see these people engrossed in the activity of flying kites. Okay, so this is called as the kite festival, or you can say this is a very, very important occasion in India, especially in the state of Gujarat. Now on this, around the same day, there is even a bigger event which is called as the International Kite Festival, which is held at Ahmedabad. Okay, Ahmedabad is a place in Gujarat. It is organized by the Gujarat State Tourism Corporation, and it is held either at the Sardar Patel Stadium or the Police Stadium in Ahmedabad. So this is what we are talking about in this particular lesson, and it is the International Kite Festival. So mind you, people from all over the world, from countries like USA, Japan, UK, even these people come in order to demonstrate their kite flying skills, and they bring exotic kites like this. Can you see these kites? Kites in the shape of various animals, kites in various shapes and sizes. Okay, now in Ahmedabad there is also a place called as the Patang Bazaar, or Patang means kite. Okay, so there is this place called as Patang Bazaar, which is in the heart of Ahmedabad. Alright, and during this kite season, kite flying season, or during the festival, kite flying festival or the International Kite Flying Festival, this place is open for 24 hours a day for the whole week. That is, this is how people are obsessed with flying kites. Alright, so this is an image from the actual Patang Bazaar in Ahmedabad. See, there's one more image. So there are shops where only kites are made. See, you can see a person sitting there. So all the work related to flying kites, that is how to make the special thread for flying kites, it is called as manja. Okay, and this manja is also covered with a kind of a ground glass. So if you rub your hand on this kite flying thread, you will cut your hand. Why is it done? Why do they apply ground glass to it? So that they can it becomes sharp and they can cut someone else's kite. And there are also these reels onto which the thread is rolled, which are called as the firkis. So all these things you will find in the kite market. You will also find certain interesting kites like the illuminated kites. See, the box shaped kites which are illuminated, that is, you can put a candle or something inside, and they will you will see it bright up in the sky. Okay, lighting up the sky. See, these are some illuminated kites. Okay, so they add to the beauty of the night sky. Can you see? So these are all the illuminated kites. So children, this was about the kite flying festival, and also we got so much information about different kind of kites, and we also talked about how there is a bazaar, or there is a market which is dedicated to kites in the city of Ahmedabad. Okay, so this in short was information regarding kites and also the kite festival. Now let us go to the English workshop part of your lesson, children, and let us find out some antonyms and synonyms of the words. Now you do not have to search elsewhere. The answers are given to you here itself on the page in these boxes. So let us go to the first word. So the word is happily. So what is a synonym for happily? It is joyfully. What about the antonym? It is sorrowfully. Okay. What about traditional? The synonym is old-fashioned. That is something which has been happening since a long time ago. And the antonym is a modern. For halt, we have a pause, which is the synonym, and antonym is start. So I keep using this word pause when I teach you. I keep telling you to pause the video, find out the answer, pause the video, okay? So pause means to halt for some time. Then you have triumph, which means victory, and the antonym is defeat. Then exotic means foreign, and the opposite of exotic is native. That is something which is from that particular place only. So I have given you many answers here. There are around 6 answers which are remaining to be found out, but I guess that is an easy job now. So that I will leave it to you. So this is your assignment for today. So you have to find out the rest of the antonyms and the synonyms. Now children, I told you that towards the end of the lesson we will be doing another exercise in grammar, and that particular exercise is going to be based on verbs. So we are not going to study what the meaning of verbs is or examples of verbs, but since we are starting a lesson on verbs, we are starting an exercise on verbs, let us quickly discuss what the meaning of verbs are. So a verb is a word that conveys an action, an occurrence, or a state of being. So it could be an action, it could be something which has occurred, or it could be just simply a state of being. For example, we say she is a teacher. So is the verb there. Alright. Now verbs are of different types. So you have action verbs. So an action verb will tell you what action is being done by someone or something. So that is an action verb which indicates action. Then you have linking verbs. So now we know what a link is. A link is a connection. So a linking verb connects a noun or a pronoun with a word that identifies or describes it. Okay, so we have linking words. We have helping words. So helping words are usually added before the main verb. Alright, so when there is a helping verb, then in that sentence you have two kinds of verb. One will be the main verb and the other one is the helping verb. So this in short are the different kinds of verbs. Now in today's lesson we are going to talk about something else. So verb forms or verbs, they show two things. So verbs indicate two things in a sentence. The first one is it indicates the tense of the sentence. So tense means what? We all know the past tense, the present tense and the future tense. So it tells you when the action has happened. The tense. Something is happening in the present, something is happening in the has happened in the past, or something will happen in the future. So the verb shows tense. Along with the tense, it also shows the aspect of the tense. That is, what is the manner in which it is happening? Has it already happened, or is it in the process of happening, or will it be happening in the future? So it shows the aspect. And under aspect, we have the progressive, we have the perfect tense, and we have the perfect progressive tense. So as far as the exercise that we have is considered today, we have to find out the aspect of the verb in the sentences which they have given us. So instead of talking only about tense, let us move on and discuss about the progressive tense, the perfect tense and the perfect progressive tense. That is, we will talk about the aspects of the tense of the verb form. So the first one is progressive. Now progressive is also called as continuous. The action is happening, okay? It is not over. And when we are talking about some action which was happening in the past also, we will use the progressive tense. So here you use the be, that is am, was or be, and we use the verb plus the ing. So the verb and the ing form of the verb. Let us look at some examples. So present progressive. Present, right now, it is happening. It is not over, it is happening. So it is in the present, but it is in the progressive form, continuous form. So he is playing. So see, he is the subject, is the be, plus verb is play and the ing. So he is playing. Past progressive. He was playing. He was. Now he is not playing. But in the past, he was in the continuous form. He was playing. Okay. What about future progressive? He will be playing. So he is not playing right now. We are not talking about him having played in the past, but we are talking about the future. We are talking about what will happen in the future, and we are saying that he will be playing. So just pay attention to the way the verb changes. Okay, is playing, was playing, will be playing. Let's come to the second aspect, that is the perfect tense. So when you say perfect tense, you have the have, has or had as the helping verb along with the verb, and then you have the en or the ed added to the verb. So you have taken, okay, or you have walked, that way. So let's see the example. Present perfect. They have played. So they have played. They finished playing. They have. Okay. Past perfect. They had played. So see how the have has become had. And when you use it in the future perfect, they will have played. Okay. So if I give you a sentence with will have and the ed added to the verb, you should immediately say that it is the future perfect tense, because there is the will over there. Alright children, moving to the third part or third aspect, we have the perfect progressive tense. So it is perfect, but it is a progressive. The action is in progress. So there is the ing form of the verb. Ing added to the verb. See, we have the present perfect progressive. So we have been playing. Okay. Then we have the past perfect progressive. We had been playing. So in present it is have, and in the past it is had. And then we have the future perfect progressive. We shall have been playing. Now remember children, these are used, the perfect tense. We do not make too much use of it, especially the future perfect progressive tense. You will not come across too many sentences in your textbook. So these are the three aspects of the verb here. We have done this because there is an exercise that we have to do, in which we have to read certain sentences and we have to identify whether those particular sentences are in any of these tenses. That is, whether they are in the continuous tense, or whether it is in the perfect tense, or whether it is in the perfect progressive tense. Okay. So come on, let us proceed to our activity. Okay. So here we are. So underline the verb form. So there are two activities to be done here. You have to underline the verb form, and also you have to state their tense also and the aspect also, aspect of the tense also. So they are waiting for the right winds. So which is the verb here? Are waiting is the verb here. So waiting is the verb, are is the helping verb, we can say. They are waiting for the right winds. So we have identified or underlined the verb now. Now let's see what their tense and aspect is. So it is in the present progressive tense. See, they are waiting means it is happening now in the present. They are still waiting. People were haggling over the price of kites. So were haggling. Pay attention to the were. So were is supposed to be in the past, and since there is the haggling, the ing along with the verb, it is the past progressive. Vendors had been selling kites all through the week. Had been selling is the verb form, and since we have a had and we have a been selling, so it is past because of the had, and it is progressive, and of course it is in the perfect, so it is past perfect progressive. Skilled craftsmen had demonstrated age-old skills. So had demonstrated, it is the past perfect. State Tourism Corporation will be organizing the International Kite Festival. So will be organizing is the verb form, and it is future, will be, but it is organizing, SING. So it is a progressive. So we have it as, call it as the future progressive. Finally, let's come to the last sentence of this exercise. Kite flyers have demonstrated their skills with exotic kites. So have demonstrated. So we have the have and we have the ed after the verb. So it is present perfect. Have demonstrated. Okay, children? So this was the interesting lesson about kites and about the kite festival. Hope you got so many new, you can say, pieces of information about how kite flying, which looks like a very simple activity, but how it has got a long history also, and how it is done in an interesting way in certain parts of the world. We also looked at certain vocabulary exercises and also this grammar exercise in this part of the exercise. So that is all, children, for today regarding this particular lesson. So children, now you have watched the video. So after you watch the video now, you will have to complete a few simple tasks. Now you might have watched the video on your computers or your laptops or your mobile phones. Now after you watch the video, what will you do? You will please go to the description box which is given below the video. So what is the description box? See, the description box looks like this. Alright, and after you go to the description box, you will see that there are a few questions there. Now what are these questions about? These questions are about the lesson that we just learned or the video that you just watched. So what will you do? You will think back properly about the lesson and you will try and answer these questions and note down the answers in your notebook if you want. Okay? After that, we have another task waiting. You will also click on the link which you will find in the description box to fill up the Google form. So now what is the Google form, children? It is nothing but a simple form. There are a few simple questions there about the video which you just saw and also about yourself. So these are the tasks now that you will have to complete after you watch each video. So children, wasn't that a very interesting lesson? I'm sure you learned a lot of new things in this lesson. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my video so that you will get to see all the videos which I keep posting regularly.